Hello everyone, I'm Carius, and today we're going to be talking about Mega XL. The first thing Nerf's done in a while that I actually like. So Mega XL darts are these giant Chungus darts that are big enough to literally put a Mega dart inside the back of them. They're a little bit smaller than a Demolisher rocket, but large enough that they would serve the same purpose in a specialized game mode or something that has special zombies or shield breaking rules or anything where you want Demolisher rockets. I can see Mega XL darts being a good alternative to that. And the three Mega XL blasters that we've got so far actually seem pretty good. The main reason I was excited for XL in the first place is just with darts this large, it's kind of hard for Hasbro to screw it up in terms of the amount of power the blaster's going to have. Like, even if the blaster's bad at shooting XL darts, it almost has to have enough power to be pretty good at shooting smaller darts. But as it turns out, the XL blasters are decent at shooting XL darts. I mean, they're not going to shoot 100 feet or anything, but they shoot about as far as any Demolisher rocket firing thing the Nerf's put out, which is about all you can expect. And unlike blasters that shoot Demolisher rockets, all the Mega XL blasters are actually springers with a functioning trigger and plunger and catch, and like it's a stored energy system instead of a HAMP, the just manual airflow, pull the thing and it shoots the rocket type deal, which is pretty cool. They're all massive plungers. The plunger seal on Mega XL blasters is pretty crappy, seemingly intentionally. It only seals really well for about half the travel of the plunger. It's really tapered so that it seems like basically half the plunger tube isn't doing anything. And I've found you can get around that just a little bit with an O-ring that is the same thickness as the original O-ring, but just a little bit bigger, so that it's a little bit loose around the plunger, and as the plunger goes forward, it kind of compresses it to the ideal like size for the main part of the plunger. But when it's at the back, the plunger O-ring is a little larger and it's just seals earlier. So I've gotten a little bit better performance out of this Boomdozer by putting a slightly wider O-ring on the plunger. But the main thing I've done to this is double spring it. I just put a length of K25 spring around the original spring, and so far it is more than strong enough to handle that, and the kind of gear reduction system with the prime is enough that it's not that difficult to prime it, even though it's a pretty beefy spring with a K25 put on top of it. And I've got a decent amount of performance gain out of it. And with the Mega XL darts, one fun thing I've noticed about them is that they whistle a lot more consistently than regular Mega darts. Like, no matter what I shoot them out of, they just create a real loud whistle sound, whereas sometimes regular Mega darts just don't. And they are definitely more accurate than Mega darts, though it seems to be on a dart-to-dart basis. I've had some Mega XL darts that fire just completely straight, and some that always curve in a certain direction. So there's some kind of inconsistency going on, and I'm not sure if it's a weight issue or just a quality issue with how the heads are glued on. I've noticed a couple Mega XL darts have like the head glued on off center, which is really weird to me. But anyway, they do swerve around and kind of fly wherever they want to, but they seem a little more consistent than Demolisher rockets, and they certainly are more accurate than regular Mega darts. Like, especially for the purposes you'd actually want to use Mega XL darts for, like shield busting or special infected or stuff that's, or throwing into like a defend the core type setup, they are certainly accurate enough for those short range kind of objectives, and they're just fun. They are, in my mind, the complete opposite of hyper in that they just took something that they already had and made it bigger and goofier and just a little bit better, and there's some potential in all the blasters for some goofy modifications, and I'm a big fan of it. Especially if we see knockoff Mega XL darts show up from China or wherever, I can see myself just kind of abandoning Demolisher rockets entirely and switching over to Mega XL for any large goofy ammo needs. But even if you're not interested in the darts, the blasters themselves are pretty cool because they just have a lot of plunger tube. They're decently built, they look kind of cool, and similarly to Mega Blasters, where you take one Mega Dart and change it to shoot 3 regular darts, you can take a Mega XL Dart and rechamber the blaster to shoot 3 Mega Darts, or even more smaller darts. And this is a lot of fun. Just having a 3-dart Mega Shotgun with 6 shots is awesome. And with the higher spring and slightly better seal, it'll shoot 3 Mega Darts about as well as a stock Mega Blaster will shoot 1 Mega Dart. So it's actually a really cool Mega Shotgun. And if I had multiple of these printed, which it's like a 2-day print, I just haven't got around to print more of these yet, but I want to. If you had a couple of these ready to go and did something where you could quick swap the cylinder like I've got here, that would actually be a really interesting shotgun. So I have done a quick swap mod on the Boomdozer. All that's required is that you cut this area open. You can see the difference. It goes down a lot farther on this side. Here I've got it cut open. It goes down about this far. You can see where this little plastic starts here and just goes across. And you cut all that out so that there's enough room to fit the cylinder in this way. And because the Mega Darts, the XL Darts, stick out a little bit, they stick out enough that there's enough room in the cylinder to put it in without even engaging the hexagonal part. So you can put a cylinder in and then push it back onto the hexagon post and then shove it into this little notch that you have to cut here. And the actual tension of it being forced onto the hexagon post that rotates it actually keeps this in place pretty well. Even like slam firing it and using it quite a bit, it doesn't want to pop out on its own. But it's still fairly easy to just push it from the other side and pop the whole thing out. So I was really surprised that I didn't need to have any kind of retaining mechanism added on here to keep these in place. They just want to stay centered naturally because of how they interface with the center part. And it's just kind of a snap in, snap out type deal. Now this isn't great for Mega XL darts because say you were to have extra Mega XL cylinders loaded up, there's not actually enough. It's real easy to swap in an empty one, but there's not actually enough space to swap in a loaded one without the darts getting in the way. You have to like really crush the darts and cramp it in there, and it's this fiddly, awkward thing. You can do it, but it's not as smooth as putting an empty one of these in here. And getting it out is even harder. It's like you've got to really reach in the back and crush the darts, and you can see how much like this one here is getting squished all the way down to the foam. And there we go, got it out. So like, you could maybe load half of them just to save a little bit of time and then load the other 3 manually, but that's kind of silly. But where the cylinder swapping really is awesome is for something like this, because the Mega Darts fit all the way into the cylinder because they're a little shorter than XL Darts. So you have plenty of room to load a fully loaded shotgun cylinder in there, and having multiple of these would actually be pretty cool. And it comes out just easily. This is the one that Chicken design, and you can find it on Thingiverse, or Out of Darts sells them as well on their website. I found that the one that I printed, I needed to sand down this post a little bit to get it to work with the quick swap setup I have here, but just printed as is, it probably works just fine if you're just replacing the cylinder and putting it in and not cutting the shell open like this. But yeah, with this 3D printed cylinder, you can just have your 18 Mega Darts loaded up and have 6 shots of whistling shotgun goofiness, and that's pretty awesome. It's about the only time I would use whistling Megas over the AccuFake Megas, just because you get a better spread because they're going everywhere, and the triple whistle is pretty fun too. But yeah, this has more than enough power to shoot 3 Mega Darts pretty consistently, and it's pretty hilarious. I'll show that off a little later when I'm firing off all the blasters. And I did say blasters plural because I have the other 2 Mega XL blasters here as well, and they are also pretty fun. The big rig, and this is something I noticed with both of the smaller Mega XL blasters, whereas the Boomdozer, they did the cool cutout plastic multicolored thing on both sides. They got kind of lazy with the other 2. The big rig has just kind of this painted bit, and it's all one piece, and they've painted the logo on this side with the different colors, and that's just kind of like the standard Nerf, nice paint on one side and then some paint on this side, but like not all the paint, which I find to be kind of bizarre, because I understand the cost savings of not painting one side of the shell, but I don't quite understand the cost savings of painting it just a little bit. Like, you still got to do the whole process of painting it. I mean, sure, you're limiting it to one color, but like, it's still a machine that's going spraying it on there, so it's just a little weird. But anyway, the big rig's pretty cool. It is gigantic for a pistol, of course, but not super heavy, and it is by far the most consistent firing out of the 3 blasters. Like, it's just got a decent amount of pop to it, and there's no smart AR system or no cylinder seal to get in the way, and it just very nicely just launches them. I'm kind of excited to see what people do with this, because it's just a weird little like pistol that probably has a long shot size plunger tube in it, just like the other ones do, and there's a lot of potential here for some kind of weird like short dart firing primary out of this, or any other kind of thing. Like, I could see somebody just carving a channel through here and having a Talon mag sticking out of it, and just having a pistol that shoots 200 plus FPS with short darts, for example. I'm sure someone will do it, or doing some shotgun nuttiness with it, or just shooting XL darts with it, because it does a pretty good job of that, and then you get the 2 extra ammo slots. And I was actually really surprised with how much I like this goofy giant pistol, but it's pretty solid. It's the Fire Strikes or Night Finder of the Mega XL stuff. It's just a simple, solid, single firing pistol that does what it's supposed to do and does it pretty well. And then the XL Double Crusher is just a lot of fun for what it is. It's just your 2-shot smart AR system, and you got some storage in the stock, which is pretty nice. It's comfy. It's pretty large, but also like thin enough that I immediately get ideas of like, let's stick 2 of these together and have a 4-shot shotgun. But it's just really smooth, but it has a little bit of inconsistency with the smart ARs, as you would expect. It's about on par with the Boomdozer in terms of performance whenever it's not having issues. It's just whenever you don't seat a dart in this barrel perfectly, it's just not going to fire, or it'll try to fire the other one, and you'll get this weird poof out of both of them, or like, it's the standard smart AR issues. But as long as both darts are like pushed all the way back and loaded fine, it shoots really well. I don't know what kind of potential this one's going to have, but it's going to probably be the same as the big rig in terms of just like, you can probably easily rebarrel this to shoot short darts really hard, and it's a nice form factor for that. It's a little goofy looking, like all three of them are, but I could see people turning this into some kind of crazy boomstick or sniper rifle almost. But like on the big rig, and this is even more strange to me, it has the full multi-piece plastic Mega XL logo on this side, and then nothing on this side. It's just got the white one piece of plastic. And it isn't like this is painted, this is multiple parts, and they just kind of was like, well, we're gonna save the effort and not bother on this side. So that's an even more extreme version of the Hasbro, let's not paint this side. It's instead, let's not even do the cool multi-cutout thing on this side. So it's just kind of funny, but overall, that's a pretty cool blaster. It's probably my least favorite of the three, but I still like it. It's just that the other two have surprised me in different ways, and I've had so much fun messing around with the Boomdozer, modding it. The Boomdozer has a stock attachment point, which is kind of unexpected and cool. Like, I don't find myself needing it or using it, but I like that it's there. Cylinder swap, it's pretty cool. You can also do a 5 elite shooting thing, and I hope somebody's gonna make an inline clip shotgun of sorts. Like, can you imagine, say, triple stacked short darts in a inline clip type system, and you shoot 3, 3, 3, but you got 6 of those, so you've got at least 18 shotgun shots in one cylinder. I think that would be awesome. I hope somebody is working on that. This is a great mega shotgun. I love it. I'm probably going to print the multi elite dart cylinders and mess with those too, and have all kinds of different cylinders. The quick swapping is nice even for the XL darts, just so that I can put in an empty XL cylinder and switch it back to that ammo type without opening up the whole blaster again. Makes it a lot more fun to just experiment with different stuff when you don't have to take out a couple dozen screws every time you want to switch back and forth. And it was really just as easy as cutting this part open so you have clearance, and then cutting this little slot on one side of the shell so that this just sits right in the slot where it made for it, and it just works. And I have one other Mega XL firing blaster, my rocket pistol. So Mega XL has a slightly larger hole in the back than Demolisher rockets, so I put a piece of nylon tubing that I had that fit right over the barrel post with a decent amount of friction, and also fits these really well. And this shoots Mega XL pretty well. It's like about 50 to 60 FPS consistently. Still, I don't think it shoots it as well as the big rig does, but it's close. It's a pretty cool little compact XL shooter, and I like it a lot. Since it's not Demolisher rockets, you don't have to worry about messing up fins on the part here, and it's kind of a smoother, better firing version of the same thing. So I'll probably leave it in this configuration, just able to shoot Mega XL and not bother with Demolisher rockets on this thing. Even though it looks goofier to have the demo rocket on the end of this, and I like that. I like how these fire and whistle a lot better. So that's fun. And people have already done this exact same thing to like blast bazookas and all the different Buzzbee air tank bazooka type setups that are out there, and they'll shoot a Mega XL dart 100 feet no problem, which is pretty awesome. So that's another thing you can do. It's pretty trivial to just get pipe that's the right size, or wrap some electrical tape around something that's meant to fire Demolisher rockets and shoot XL off of it. I think that's enough rambling nonsense. I will switch over to some chronograph test firing stuff with the different blasters and this shotgun cylinder and show off what they do. Super surprised at how much I like Mega XL. It's a lot of fun, and I want to see what else Hasbro does with it. Hopefully they'll stick with it and make some more goofy giant blasters. There's enough interest that we see some knockoff darts show up. It's probably not going to be that hard to just make your own Mega XL darts. Like, there's probably a size of pipe insulation that's like roughly equivalent to this, and you can stick some kind of head on it. Like maybe the vortex disc would be too large, but you can probably mess around with like some sort of foam golf ball, or I don't know. There's got to be some kind of rubbery object that'll be perfect for the heads of a homemade XL dart. I'm sure somebody will figure that out. Maybe there's a way to make these shoot more accurately that doesn't make them painful or anything. Like if I could squeeze a hyper round into the whistle hole in one of these and make it slightly heavier. Okay, anyway, to the demonstrations. All right, now we got in front of the chronograph. We are going to shoot all these different XL blasters and see how they compare to each other. Of course, the numbers are not going to mean anything if you're thinking about FPSs for regular darts. They're going to be considerably lower, just like with mega darts, except probably even more so. But it'll give us a good metric for how hard they're hitting relative to each other. So first I got the big rig, which I suspect is the hardest shooting of all three, even though the Boomdozer is modded. And we'll see what we get here. 59, 56, 54, 56. Okay. So mid to high 50s pretty reliably out of the stock big rig. Now the double crusher out of the top barrel. 59. That's pretty good. 57. Okay. So that's actually hitting a little harder than the big rig, it seems. Shoot a couple more out of the double crusher. It seems to have much tighter barrels. 58. 51. That's a little bit more like the performance I was getting earlier. Let's see. 60. 56. Okay. So it's shooting higher than the big rig by just a little bit, which is not the impression that they gave me originally. Double crusher seems to hit just a little bit harder, but the big rig is definitely more consistent. Now we have my little rocket pistol. 53. 54. 52. So just slightly weaker than the other blasters, but that's with a stock spring in just a Chronos. Not Chronos. Knockout. That's what it's called. It's a knockout. So with a beefier spring in one of these, you could probably get even more than stock XL performance. No problem. Alright, now let's take a look at the Boomdozer with XL darts. And this one is the one that has the K25 added to the stock spring. 61. 58. 60. 57, 63, 60. So, the highest of all the blasters I've tested by just a little bit. I suspect it was hitting considerably lower than the other blasters before I put the new spring in, but probably not by a lot. But it seems like you're going to need to do a lot more to the blaster to get it much higher than 60. Like this is with 2 springs, and I've maybe gained 5 to 10 FPS over the stock one. But now for the actual fun part, triple megas. So I've got that in there. 74, 61, 62, 66, 60. Whoop. Oh yeah, sometimes, and I think this is just because the 3D printed cylinder is a little too tight. It'll be off-center just slightly, and it will either won't fire at all because it's leaking because it's being off-center, or it'll shoot like 2 of them and one of them will hit the barrel and get stuck. I think that's just because this cylinder's a little tight, and a little bit more sanding in that peg would fix that problem entirely. But for the most part, it shoots really well, and it's getting performance equivalent to like a stock Mega Blaster, shooting 1 dart at a time, except it's shooting 3. And it does a pretty good spread because the Mega Darts are so inaccurate. It actually is a benefit for once, instead of making it so you can't hit the broadside of a barn. And now, just to be a little gratuitous, let's shoot the cups with some XL darts. So I'm going to kind of unload into them with the 6 XL darts from the Boomdozer, and then whatever's left on the table, I'll shoot at with the triple mega shotgun. We'll see what kind of damage it can do to the cup table. Starting with 1 shot right in the center to compare to previous tests we've done. That's pretty good. It's got some pretty good impact to it compared to a regular dart. Now let's try the Mega Shotgun. Triple Megas. It's just too fun. So after 6 XL darts and 18 Mega darts, that's what's left. Got the double crusher. We'll finish it off with a few pot shots from the big rig, just because. Some of these cups need to be replaced. Whoop. Hit the table more than the cups there, and it just bounced straight upward. That's weird. If you hit the table, instead of skidding, the tip is so rubbery that they just kind of bounce straight upward. There we go. The last two get the knockout. And the pour cup, that is basically just shreds of cup. Yep, Mega XL is just goofy fun. I'm a fan of it. Whatever chance I get, I will be acquiring more of these darts and messing with them. See what other goofy stuff I can do. So shooting 3 Mega darts is pretty cool. But what if I had a blaster that could shoot 3 XL darts? Oh wait, I do. The Max Launcher. So now, I've discovered 3 XL darts. It shoots pretty well out of this thing, so it can now do 19 regular darts, 7 Mega darts, or 3 XL darts. And I'm going to see what that does over the chronograph too. I think it's probably shooting them harder than any of the other XL blasters. 57. That's about right. So it'll shoot 3 XL darts about as hard as an XL blaster will shoot one. Let's try one more time. 84. That's significantly faster. So it's going to be a little inconsistent because it's a shotgun that has a pretty aggressive spread to it, and the darts are being shot backwards. They're kind of flipping around, but they definitely seem to be shooting harder than the regular XL blasters. XL shotgun. Right now I'm sitting at the other end of my basement, roughly 40 feet away from the cups with the triple Mega dart cylinder, and I want to see what kind of spread I'm getting on these regular Nerf Megas and see if I can even hit something 40 feet away. We'll see. One of those darts hit it. Those did not. Two more shots left. Got close. Another close one. But not quite. Alright, now let's try with XL darts loaded in this thing and see if I can actually hit the cups that are 40 feet away. I suspect I probably won't be able to, but we'll find out. Yep, they really do like to turn. They're going far enough, but just not nearly straight enough. What about 7 Mega darts out of the Max Launcher? Nowhere close. Okay, I give up. Whoop, that went sideways. Alrighty.
that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about the Mega XL darts and why they excite me a lot more than most things that Hasbro's put out lately. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, this has been Carius reminding you to have fun. And I gotta clean this up again. Hello. The Snuggle Cats. What you looking at? Door? They're so cute. Yeah.